Hey guys, welcome back to Banter Bets and BPL. The season's winding down. Our bankroll's winding down a little bit. We're kind of like Brighton, just barely holding on and hoping we keep our heads above water. And speaking of Brighton and big arguments, we've got brother Kieran on the podcast this week, hoping he takes a couple shots at Keegs about Brighton's shocking form. Brighton did something this past weekend that not many clubs have been able to do this season, and that's lose to Sheffield United. So we'll get into that a little bit, and got some bets for you guys, got some banter. So hoping to have a good one. Let's go into brother Keegs, the only positive guy on the podcast. I think he's at a West Brom ugly kit that he's got on, perhaps. Brother Keegs, talk about that ugly kit. Talk about your bets. Talk about whatever you want.
I think it's not ugly. I think it's beautiful. Yes, it is a West Brom kit. Robson Canoe on the back because he's a bit of a cult hero. The positive week, I think it just came down to, who was it? I had Burnley. Wish I would have bet them to win 4-0, but even my big brain didn't foresee that. And I forget what the other one was, but I think it was Everton or something. So I don't know what happened to the rest of you.
Yeah, I don't know. First of all, if you're going to have a Cal Robson Canoe cult hero kit, it's got to be a Wales 2016 kit.
I was going to say that. I
don't blame you. But I mean, when I check the jerseys at the start of every season, whatever one's going to be, and I see a jersey like this that's so unique, I have to get it. But then I look at West Brom's roster and I'm don't have much of a choice.
Struggling to find a player.
Yeah. We didn't even know who Dianya was back then.
Didn't even play for West Brom back then.
No, exactly. He was probably he come from Turkey?
Yeah.
Galatasaray.
He was just chilling. He's just another Senegalese striker playing in Turkey. All right, let's go in. We got looking at these totals, I don't even know who to go to next. I guess I was in a small negative. Sandy, negative 17, but you didn't do as bad as the other two. What's going on? How's your week? How you been?
Just lost my mojo on the betting front, you know how it goes.
But you hit Everton. Why don't you talk about that? Give a small positive.
Yeah, I got my Everton. I got that. So, that gave me a little bit of hope. I was actually buzzing on Friday, especially the way that went down.
Yeah.
Thought it might be a little bit of karma, and this was going to be the week I strike back, have a huge positive, and then just got shit down my throat for the rest of the weekend, really. Didn't win a single dollar bet, so things turn quick. Things happen fast, boys. Go from riding high Friday night to Sunday morning. You're looking, you've lost 6 straight.
Sunday scaries.
The Sunday scare.
Sunday scaries hit hard. Coach Cam, you're a man of runs, and it's just been a really ice cold run, to be honest.
It has been pretty bad.
What's going on?
Yeah, I have a pretty good strategy this week, but what really hurt me was, because I can't really remember my bets, but one I could was I had West Brom winning, and the payout I think was $23 or something like that. So I would have been a very small negative with you, but that last Keenan Davis, that third minute or whatever, that really stung. And the other bets were probably just nonsense anyway, so I didn't want to get into them.
Well, would you have the Cam special? It was the Bamford one.
I did. I actually thought that could have happened, but that game was boring. So
boring game, boring Man United. And then we had Scott. I actually liked Scott's St. Maximin to score bet at it was like 6.75, didn't quite come through. So he lost his as well. But we got Kieran back on. I think, Kieran, you've actually gotten out a bad record of betting on this podcast, I believe.
What was it, like $80 the first time, and then I was like, I don't know, minus 15 on the next one. Wasn't as lucky the second time around.
Well, let's see what happens. Hopefully it's not the trend is continuing and you're going to go down.
Hopefully it's just a back and forth, and then I can end on a high.
Absolutely. All righty, guys. I think we'll shift over now, start looking at these betting lines, and as they disappear, there they are. And we'll get into talking about the games. And there are quite a few tasty lines. I know the boys were salivating this week, getting real excited pre-pod about what we're going to bet on. And I also think there's quite a bit of talking points that I want to get through. I know we've got some VAR rants that I'm hoping, at least Brother Keegs will jump in on. Might not even be a VAR rant, it'll be a ref rant. We got We got some Carabao Cup final stuff to talk about. So, but here we go. Friday, we're getting this pod out early so we can, Kieran, did you want to add something? Go ahead.
Yeah, I also heard there's action in the Banter Bets and BPL inbox as well.
There is action in the Banter Bets and BPL box.
Nice.
The place, it's absolutely flooding with emails, so we've plucked one from the haystack to read here. So we'll get into that, and you want to do that at the end, Kieran? What do you think?
Sounds good to me.
We'll do that one closer to the end. But yeah, we're getting this podcast out on a Wednesday so that you guys can hear. We've got I'm hoping we have some nice strong tips for this one. Southampton at home to Leicester. Keegan, you've been a Danny Ings supporter, Danny Ings truther, and I got to say, you're right. He's really great. Do you think Danny Ings plays for Southampton next season? Do you think he finished his career at Southampton? Does he have one more big move in him? Does he go back to maybe a club where he started off at? What's his future? How old is he now? So give me all the info on Danny Ings.
He's 28 right now. I don't know. I didn't put too much research into his contract situation, so I've got no clue what's going on there. But I don't know. This is a really good question because I think it's kind of the point in his career where his stock is high. I mean, this season he's been a little bit injury prone, but he still scored goals. Last season, he obviously had an incredible season. So his stock's pretty high. So you think he might be able to find that one more payday at his age right now. But the thing is that like he's doing well with Southampton. So I don't know why he would risk a move unless, like I said, it's like the payday for him. So, I mean, the only way that he's probably going to get that is with obviously a bigger club, but I don't know which club would what club would sign Ings right now? Like you're looking at a 28-year-old, whose stock's at the highest. So there's going to be a decent price tag on him. And as well, he's injury prone. So I don't know what kind of bigger club would come in on him. Don't get me wrong. I'm the biggest Ings supporter, but I'm also just a realist at the end of the day. So I don't know. I don't see him moving. I really don't see him moving, to be honest with you. I'm sure hopefully
next season or for the rest of his career.
Well, I mean, I can't say for the rest of his career, I'm sure.
But I mean like a big move. Like, yeah, I'm not really going to count like 35 when he goes to MLS. Like, do you think he has a big move in him?
I don't think he has a big move in him. I think he might have I think he'll probably find one more Premier League team before like a little bit later on, crouch at Stoke kind of thing. Or Burnley even, I guess, would be a better.
Go back to Burnley.
Michael Owen at Stoke.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know, but imagine seeing Ings in Wolves team or Brighton's team. I think that would be incredible, but unfortunately it's probably not realistic.
Agreed. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how things shake out for him. But yeah, I like that. I agree. On the other side, we got Leicester. And Leicester this season, another good season from them. I mean, they won the league a few years ago, we all know. Haven't been that competitive, obviously, since, but have still kind of maintained, stuck around. And they made the top 5 last season. They look like they're going to make the top 4 this season. FA Cup final, I think I said that already. There's been a lot of talk about the Premier League Big Six, Sandy. Is the Big Six kind of being gate crashed permanently by Leicester? Is this a Big Seven now in terms of success moving forward, let's say over the next 5 years?
Well, the Big Six is bullshit. It's a fugazi. We all know that. Like, it doesn't mean anything. People like to say the Big Six. Like, yeah. I don't know who says that. Probably Arsenal fans to like make themselves feel good, and Spurs fans like, oh yeah, we're part of the Big Six because we waste the most amount of money, like whatever that really means. But I'm my personal Big Four definitely has Leicester in it, and who it doesn't have. I was making my criteria today when I saw this question, and I think it's got to be the 4 most recent teams that have won a title. So that omits your boys Man United. Man United is not part of my Big Four. So Leicester is in. Leicester, Liverpool, Chelsea, City. Those are the Big Four right now.
All right.
The win titles to get respect.
Okay. So Man U is in the Big Five then, though.
Yeah, they're fifth most recent.
All right. As long as we're perfectly.
Not in Champions League though.
Not what?
Well, they're not in the. Yeah.
They're not in the Champions League of the recent title winners.
As Marco would say, that's exactly where the Europa League specialists
where they belong. Yeah, the Europa League specialists, Manchester United. Yeah, I don't know. I think Leicester is kind of moving in there. Rodgers has found, I think, a really nice spot. I mean, we're all like, once Vardy's done, might be it curtains for Leicester. But Iheanacho is hottest player in the league right now. So looks like they might have found their Vardy replacement in a unexpected source. So I think they're cruising at 2.0. We're going to get into the bets later, but I think this has got GGL potential, boys. So yeah. All right, moving along. Coach Cam, Manchester City, 4 Carabao Cups in a row. Imagine drinking 4 Carabao energy drinks in a row. You'd be bouncing off the walls. 4 Carabaos in a row. Go ahead. The floor is yours. Give your guys some love. I mean, you doubted them. You didn't think they'd win this trophy.
I didn't think they were going to win this trophy. That was
proved you wrong.
They did prove me wrong. Maybe it was a bit of reverse psychology. I'm not really sure.
Oh,
but
Coach Cam,
naughty
boy.
But no, and they played that game, I think, really well. I think they dominated Tottenham for majority of the first half, and then the second half was at the first 5 or 10 minutes was a little, I don't know, worrying, because I think the first 5 minutes of both halves are usually when City dominates, and then the rest of the game they'll kind of cruise in and cruise into their form. But the first 5 minutes of the second half, I didn't think they did that well. The goal was, I think it was just kind of just great. It was too good to be true. Stones getting a red card and Laporte coming in and scoring the winner. I think that was awesome. Despite Stones' form, I think that Laporte has always been the better center back. Stones has been in great form though, so you should play a player that's in form. But yeah, that's crazy. I didn't know this until after the game when they're handing out the trophies or the medals, that Fernandinho has won 6, which is a record. I didn't know he's won 6 Carabao Cups, which is a record for one individual to win 6. Which is pretty crazy.
It'd be a tough record to break too. Actually, Foden will probably break it.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, yeah.
But yeah, someone like that.
It was great. Yeah, I think he might. Yeah, he has 3. Yeah, but yeah, they played a really great game. Kept it a little tight, but yeah, they've been just playing unbelievable, and then they were able to resonate that great Carabao Cup win to today, which I just can't stop smiling after today's performance as well against PSG.
Yeah, that is true.
Unreal. Today was just exceptional. Carabao Cup was exceptional. Love Laporte, love the boys.
So because we now have this thing, it's the Coach Cam Pride Scale, and we know last week the Coach Cam Pride Scale broke because you were so proud of them for leaving the Super League.
I thought I was very proud.
Where does this rank? Winning a League Cup, winning a Champions League semi-final, first leg away at PSG on the Coach Cam Pride Scale, between joining the Super League at one very end and leaving the Super League.
It was crazy. That's actually a great scale you made, because I was the least impressed and the least proud of my club when they joined, and then the most when they left. But this is, I'm very proud of them, because 4 consecutive years winning the same trophy I think that's very difficult. And they've done that, which is pretty great. Today, I think they've played the best soccer in the second half I've ever seen Manchester City play this season. They were unbelievable in the second half today, but I don't think it's quite at that pride level yet. I think getting into the final, I think winning the second leg would surpass, and then surpassing that would be winning the Champions League, of course. But it's just
to be clear, Manchester City winning the Champions League, you would take more pride in that than them leaving the Super League?
Yes, 100%. That'd be the first time they've done it ever. So
first time they've ever left the Super League.
Yeah, that's true.
That is also true.
It would be 1-1.
It would be a first time in both scenarios, but I think I'd take more pride in the Champions League, because at least they're getting a trophy they're doing something that I can actually.
But what's
not
a
just
piece
myself.
of silverware compared to the morality of that they must have gained from saying, you know what, guys, we're out here.
I think it's just more. Oh, sorry, there's a little mic feedback there, but I think it's just more so that I was proud from like the actual club of Manchester City when they left the Super League, but this would be like the pride level would be actually to the players and manager.
Yeah,
because they were always against the Super League, but this would be, and I think that pride to the actual players performing, the managers and coaches that putting in work, that definitely surpasses the club owners and all that. Those fucking morons sometimes.
And there you go. So Coach Camp Pride Week gets extended to 2 weeks. We'll see how many more weeks it can go. Second leg next week, right?
Yep, second league in 6 days, and if they win that or draw,
Pride Week is going to turn into Pride Month.
It might turn into Pride Month, exactly. So that'd be the first time ever getting into the Champions League final. So that would probably surpass as well. And if they win, that would surpass the previous.
I'm going to have to do some workshopping on this scale. This is getting complicated.
It is getting complicated, I know.
All right.
It seems like a big Pride Month guy to me, so he's probably used to this.
Yeah. All right. Let's keep moving along. 7 a.m. on paper. This one looks great. Brighton leads. But brother Keegs, Brighton, they go and they lose to Sheffield United. What is up with them? We're going to go to you. You better say something good because I'm going to Kieran after this. I know he's coming in hot.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Back-to-back 0-0 draws and then 1-0 loss to Sheffield. It doesn't look great, does it? I mean, I don't know. It's just another expected goal fiasco against Sheffield. Probably had no right losing that game. I don't know. Sandy, did you see the goal McGoldrick scored?
No.
It was like it bounced to him and then he did like a spin shot and the goalie dove out of the way.
So much bad defending and goalkeeping this weekend.
I don't know. It was just like one of those where it's like no one really like you watch it. The commentators don't really say anything about the goalkeeping, but then you're just kind of like, I don't know. But I don't know. I guess I got a little sidetracked there, but I don't know. I'm going to try and look at some positives. Obviously not much, but Handbatch looked good off the bench. He looked exciting.
We're scraping the bottom of the barrel here, boy.
Oh goodness!
No, he actually was good though. He came on, created their two best chances probably, and the Mopai miss. I think all of Brighton's problems really just boil down to Mopai. I don't know how many sitters he plans on missing over the course of his career, but Kieran, you have him in fantasy, eh?
I got rid of him a long time ago.
I traded him to
it might relegate me,
Kieran
but I will die on that hill. I will die on that hill that it was worth it.
Kieran's fantasy team touched him, so it ruined his whole career. And now he's missing sitters. Jahanbach set up a sitter for him from about 3 yards out, blazed it over the bar. Just unbelievable. But you know what? Every game's exciting. So
yeah, you pass through Kieran's fantasy team and your career's done.
I also want to
only if you get drafted by my team.
I also want to point out that was the first time I've ever bet Neo Mopai to score was last week, so that may have.
Oh, did you?
I bet him to score, yeah. So
oh my god!
Anytime goal score.
He missed a 3-yard tap in.
Yeah, so it's the Campetic curse.
It might have been because if my betting's been on a cold streak, I might have. It's probably just an accumulating factor. My betting.
Yeah, he's really battling against it here. He's got Cam to fight off Kieran's curse. Yeah, no chance. Kieran, Brighton get relegated. You're going to have a field day talking about expected goals. Throw it in the garbage. Keegan, take your numbers, pack them in, go home. This is eye test, and I said that Brighton sucks, right?
Yeah, well, it's kind of hard to beat the eye test when you're losing to Sheffield 1-0.
Eye test.
United.
Yeah, that was the next thing I was going to say. Is I'm surprised one of the positives Keegan didn't pull out was, they didn't concede as many goals as Man United did to Sheffield. So, there's a lot of positives in this game.
Is that the Keegan voice too? I like that.
Expected goals against. It's higher than that. But in all seriousness, until they actually do something, like Keegan can talk about all his theories and all his they're expected to be good and they should do well. they have to actually live up to that, Keegan. And you've been saying it's not about what has happened, it's about what will happen. Well, you said that like
when's it going to start happening, Keegan? Come on.
It hasn't happened yet, man. They haven't taken the second half of the season and then, made up for that. They haven't, eaten back at that expected goals difference that they had at the start of the year that you were talking about. So when is it going to happen? Is it next year they're going to be in the top 3 because all those expected goals just appear for them? Like they have to actually do something, Keegan.
Well, here's the thing about expected goals is it's giving you, it's like predicting the future, right? Like it's giving you an insight into what's going to happen, what should be happening. So once they get a striker, it should all turn around, right, Keeks?
I think it's a little bit misunderstood here. It's just evaluating the quality of their performances. So every game they perform well, but they just haven't got the results because a combination of poor finishing and a combination of conceding goals that they have really no right to be conceding. Wednesday, February 3rd, 1-0 at Anfield. There you go.
Ooh. Sorry, I just have a question. Like,
okay,
surely I'm not. Maybe this might be to Keegan because he's the data analyst here, so he probably knows a little bit more about this than I do. I've never really looked into the expected goals. I'm more, if I had to swing my vote, it would probably be more to the eye test. But surely the expected goals must be like, how have they always have high expected goals if they always don't score? Like, that doesn't make sense. Wouldn't you be like,
it's not actual goals?
It's
creating chances.
It's not based on like how good their players are. It's based on how good their players were.
Whoa.
Sorry. Is that me?
Okay. Keegan, go ahead. Explain. Enlighten us on
it just measures the quality of chance, the quality of the chances that they create over the course of a game. And so the fact that they it doesn't have anything to do with their actual goals because those two aren't really completely correlated. They are correlated in the future, but it just means that the fact that they can continuously miss chances. And that's why they're
expected goals can fall into the same category as like big chances created.
Yeah, because it measures the quality of each shot and the likelihood of each shot becoming a goal.
Okay.
The reason that their expected goals is always so good, but they don't win games is because Neil Mopai gets a chance where he's 3 yards out and he blazes it over the bar. And so
when there's you look one at that expected goal that they didn't get a goal from.
Yeah, essentially.
So their expected goals is high, but their actual goals is low.
And unfortunately, Mopai's missed a lot of sitters this year. So that's where it comes from.
Keegan, here's a question. Do they have the stats for difference from expected goals? Because I bet Brighton is the runaway leader in that.
Yeah, they do. Well, I could pull it up in a sec, but I actually did check before in terms of Mopai's difference between expected goals and actual goals.
Keegan, that's what I brought this up earlier, but you need to develop the wins above replacement stat for soccer. And Mopai is probably
If you just put in an average Premier League finisher instead of Mopai, how good is Brighton?
Well, that's what it's saying because I looked at it to see if it was pretty bad, and it is kind of bad where his expected goal. So I guess that would be like close to the wins above replacement because it's measured on the average chance. So he's about 6 goals behind what the average player would have scored given the chances that he had this season.
Mm-hmm. And is that worse than the league?
I don't know. I'd have to look at it. I don't know.
Werner might be giving him a run off the top of my head.
That's very true.
The expected goals is very interesting now that you've really explained it a little better. Now I'm wrapping my mind around it. But
just out of curiosity, what did you think it meant?
No, I was thinking like that you have your expected goals. Let's say it was like 2.5. So you're expected to score 2.5 goals. That if they have 2.5 goals for 3 games straight, that I thought the expected goals.
You thought it was like based on averages in the past?
Yeah, averages of goals that they've scored against those teams in the past.
Oh, okay.
That makes sense. Like if they beat Sheffield 2-0 before, then their average goals would be around 2. when they play Sheffield again. That's honestly what I thought, which maybe it was naive or dumb to think like that, but that's what I thought. So I was thinking, like, how the hell is Brighton's expected goals so high if they never score, but not just big chances created, and I guess big chances missed as well.
Yeah, and something also has to be said for the goals against that they have as well, where they're conceding goals disproportionate to the amount of goals that they would expect to concede based on the chances that they give up. And I just looked at it quick. Werner is expected 12.5 goals so far this year. Aki has 6. So he's 6.5 goals under. And Mopai is only 5.2 goals under. So Werner's actually a bit worse in terms of the finishing there for you.
There's some find the full table for us, Keegs.
Yeah, I'd love to see these stats. I'm actually interested by that. But there you go. We're out here learning on the podcast. We're learning.
By the way, I watched the goal, Keegan, and I'm gonna put that down to just a class finish from McGoldrick. Gave him the eyes.
McGoldrick. By the way, McGoldrick, I was looking at my futures that I placed back in September. I have a cheeky bet on McGoldrick top scorer at like 4.5 or something, and he's looks like he's running away with it with a total of like 5 goals. He's got like 3 more than anyone on the team. Brighton leads quickly, Sandy, because we spend a lot of time on this one. If I could tell you right now, this game's either finishing 2-2 or 0-0. Which do you choose?
Probably 2-2. The expected goals, eggs, I'll crack eventually.
There you go. Chelsea Fulham. So this past week, we've just actually finished. Well, not finished. We just did rip on them. But Timo Werner, Cam, and I loved the picture that Mike posted in our fantasy group chat. And it's like, when you type in Timo Werner miss versus on Google, and it comes up like Macedonia, Liverpool, like at literally every
just
team.
Just a list a mile long.
Yeah, exactly. It's the longest list ever. Coach Cam, do you have a favorite Werner miss, or what's his worst miss? There's a couple big ones this week, but maybe you remember one earlier in the season. I don't know.
I'm trying to think of one. I don't know. I've just been in a trance of how great City's been playing. I can't even think when you.
Okay.
But I don't know why.
Don't give him any topics that aren't about City. Is basically what he just told you.
No. I'm not really sure why, but I thought that the miss he had yesterday was fucking awful. I don't know about you guys. Did you see that one?
Yeah. Couldn't agree more, Cam.
That was awful, wasn't it? I thought that was just dreadful.
Plus, it is on the bigger stage than all the other ones.
Plus, like, I feel like the other ones to the better, because the ones I remember, like, it seems like he was off balance on majority of them. Like, it was stretching or the ball was bouncing, and this one was fucking laid on the ground perfectly in stride. So I don't know. I've already went on this. This was a couple pods, maybe even more, 3 or 4 weeks. You asked me about if it was genius when he passed to Mason Mount when he had that open chance. I think it was West Brom, or if it was just poor. Like,
that was more hot potato. Yeah, someone take this from.
I'm just gonna keep saying that he's just Chelsea need to get fucking rid of this man. Holy man! Like,
you think so? Do you think it's really done? So. Like, he's not like first year betting in. Next year he'll be better.
I'm not really sure. I think like the form. It's hard to really break form. That's why like it really is. So. I don't see how he like recovers from this, especially when we were just talked about expected goals. Like, I don't know if this is true or not, but as a coach, like if your player isn't scoring, wouldn't you think of like replacing them? I don't know, like shouldn't they try Tammy Abraham or Olivier Giroud and see if they can score?
Agree. I don't know why they've been so reluctant.
Like, eventually, you have to do that, and then if he's not fitting in, and I think they should get him out. If Keegan just brought that 6.5 goals, that could theoretically be 6 more wins that Timo Werner could have for Chelsea in the Prem, which would bring them up with City. So like it isn't. I think that they need to let him go, or at least try another striker, because it's just ridiculous. Some of these misses are, I don't know, they're literally laughable. And I can't believe that despite these expected goals, or the difference in the expected goals in the part of the season right now, that people like Marco and Chris Pike, the top of my head, that are Chelsea fans, still believe that Timo Werner is a top striker. is beyond me. Like, I'm not really sure there's only so much you can say this player is good because of a past season. Like,
I love Marco's argument of, but look at what else he does. Name me one other thing he does bad other than scoring goals. He's not good at that. But
Marco said to me that he's the best. It's the best movement he's ever seen a striker have in the Premier League. He texted me.
Oh my God.
Because we have a group chat of myself, him, and Devin Hoyer actually when we were watching, because City was playing Dortmund, so we made that group chat a while ago. But yesterday we were roasting. Did you see that miss, Mark? Did you see that miss? And he was saying that that's the only thing he's bad at is actually scoring. His playmaking is great. He's the best movement a striker has ever he's ever seen in the Premier League. He's been able to draw defenders and this and that. And I was thinking, like, I feel like what he's doing is fairly routine. Like, most strikers are making runs through, dragging defenders, playmaking, and doing exactly what he's doing and scoring. Like, I don't know. I think they're getting a little complacent with them. And I don't think that's the case. Like, you need to punish a striker for missing chances. You need to punish a midfielder for not creating chances. You need to punish a defender for not keeping clean sheets. Doesn't matter what else they do well. That's basically the main roles they have. And I think that Werner needs to be some form of, you're not playing unless you improve, or find another striker. Like, if they're planning on Olivier Giroud's getting a little old, I don't know why Tammy Abraham doesn't play as much as, again, I think he's a decent striker. He's young as well. So either replace him or sell him, like, before I don't know, before he goes to fucking, like, I don't know, he goes to Burnley, he goes to Brighton. Werner will be at Brighton soon, and he'll be the one trying to score chances. Like, it's just ridiculous.
It's exactly what Brighton needs.
Yeah,
Mopai 2.0.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. That's just that's my take on it.
All right, Everton, Aston Villa. I don't know, not much on this one, Sandy, but you already kind of touched on it. Everton finally paid off for you. Going to be back on them. You trust in them, or is this the perfect chance to fade them? They just paid out for you. You jump off the bandwagon and go right back against them.
I don't know, boys. I'm really cross on this one. Yeah, that was my initial plan. I texted the boys right after the Everton result, and I was like, all right, got my fucking win. Now I turn the tables and start betting against every week. But they're playing Aston Villa. Aston Villa's really bad.
Oh, don't tell me you're getting sucked into Everton.
I'm probably going to bet Everton.
Oh, no.
Oh, dear.
No. A fallen soldier. That's
Yeah.
a number, not the team. Yeah.
I'm just too disgusted by what Villa has done, Jack Grealish, whatever the fuck's going on behind the scenes. I cannot, in good faith, put money on them.
Fair enough. I think I've got this later, but I think Villa double chance might be the way to go on this one, just in case. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. Not too much time to waste on that one. Both teams kind of meh right now, especially. Newcastle, Arsenal, Sunday morning. I'm going to go to Kieran on this one. So, brother Kieran, Newcastle fans, they're all pissed off at Steve Bruce the whole season. Like, this guy sucks. Get him out. Like, this is the worst season ever. Like, what's happening? In the end, it looks like they're going to be relatively comfortably staying up. Is Steve Bruce there next season? Should he be? Maybe that's two different questions. Will he be? Has he earned the right to coach them again next season? Two different questions. Let's hear your take on both.
Well, yeah, they're definitely two different questions, and it really depends who you ask. Because if you ask a Newcastle fan, then it's get rid of them. We all know the answer to that. If you ask me, honestly, it's not like he's done bad with that group of players. Like, you've got St. Maximin, and I guess you had Callum Wilson this year, who's a pretty good Premier League goal scorer, but he's been hurt a lot this year. What else do you expect from that team? Like, that's not a very good team. I know Newcastle fans think we should be doing so much better because they still think they have Alan Shearer up top. But it's like, I think he's done enough. Yeah, I think he's done enough to stay there. I don't think they're going to go much farther with him. He is kind of, I don't think you can expect anything more from him out of this, like, especially with the players he has, because he just, I don't know, he's never hit me as a great manager who's going to get more out of players than, somebody else will.
No Graham Potter.
Yeah, he's no Graham Potter. Graham Potter would be doing wonders with that team. But does he deserve to be there? As much as any other Newcastle manager in recent times, you got to think, except for maybe Benitez. Benitez definitely deserved to be there because he's definitely a better manager, if you ask me. Will he be there? I think no. I think they're going to make the change this summer. They're going to let this season go out and they're going to try and find somebody new.
Yeah, fair enough. And I don't know, like, since you make a good point, like Wilson and St. Maximin were out, and we've seen in the last couple of games what a huge difference those guys being back in have made. And I was really impressed with their fight after horrible, I thought, decision to call off the goal that, it comes up and hits Wilson in the body, even though he was pushed from behind and didn't really know anything about it, and he scores. That happens in the 93rd minute, and you don't get it, and you've been fighting for an equalizer, and that happens, and it gets ruled out for that, and they still come back and tie the game. I thought that showed a ton of character. And Willock's the super sub these days. I think he's got three in a row off the bench, maybe goals,
something like that. But they'll be missing him this week because he's not going to be able to play against Arsenal.
Yeah, very true. So they better actually, not need him off the bench. Could happen against Arsenal.
Yeah. Do you mind if I just jump in? I'm just going to go against Kieran really quick here. I think he is still the manager, just on the fact that, Mike Ashley's a cheap owner. I don't know why he would want to pay out. I mean, he kept them in the league, and you kind of made the point as well about the players that they're missing, kept them in the league. So I don't know why you'd want to pay him out to get him out of the contract. Bring someone else in.
I think that's a good point, Keegs, because I don't know what his contract situation is. I think if it's up in the summer, then he's gone, because then Mike Ashley doesn't have to worry about buying it out. Yeah, then Keegan brings up a valid point that, Mike Ashley wants to invest as little money as possible into that team because he's trying to get rid of it. So, I wouldn't be surprised if he's still there. But I don't know. I just have a feeling he's gone. I think the fan pressure is going to be too much.
Mm-hmm. On the other side of things, Arsenal. Question for the goalkeepers union here. I mean, elephant in the room, Bernd Leno. Is he good enough? Sandy Keegs, I don't know who wants to go first. Is he good enough to be Arsenal's goalie going forward? Sandy, why don't you go first, and then Keegan can give us
the own goal.
Yeah, that'll work.
I actually think Leno's pretty good, but you got to say, like, what a bad fucking decision letting Martinez go. Like, you got to point that out.
Well, that's always going to be hanging over them, right?
Better, and it's just like hard to find. I mean, look at, like, I don't know, half the time people buy goalies and they start shit. Kepa comes to mind. I don't know, just a lot of average goalies out there. Not a whole lot of good ones. I think Leno's pretty good. That was a fucking shocker of a goal, though. It's just crazy how many horrible goals there are in the Premier League this year, and like every year, really. I don't know. I mean, you could make an argument. Okay, I was just thinking about myself, not to like talk about myself, but I've been playing soccer for a long time, and I generally don't know if I've ever made or let in a goal that was like as much of a howler as I see like every weekend in the Premier League. When I'm blowing zeros. Maybe I feel like hungover days where I've let in some bad ones or something, but
or a tournament notwithstanding.
When I'm sharp and play, I don't think I've ever let in like an absolutely shocking goal. It's like every weekend in the Premier League, these goalies are just like making fucking howling mistakes. And you can say like whatever, it's harder, it's faster, people are hitting the balls harder, whatever. But like, I think it's pretty poor from the goalkeepers in general. What do you think, Teagues?
Yeah, you make a good point. I don't know. I agree with you. I think Leno is good. I missed the own goal. I was at work, so I can't really, and I haven't actually watched it back, so I can't really talk too much about that. But yeah, I think it's tough for Martinez, that situation where he's kind of like their backup there for a little while, and then you kind of let him go where it's like, well, we got our goalie that you like, so it's kind of tough to first see him doing so well at Villa. But yeah, I think on an unrelated note, I think Martinez is probably, based on this season, probably had the best season for any goalie in the league.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. And I think the Leno situation is just magnified tenfold because of how well Martinez is doing. If Martinez went to Villa and he was just, average, then we wouldn't really be talking about it this much. Like, yeah, we'd talk about, he's let in a howler, but we wouldn't have to talk about this if it wasn't for Martinez. And,
Yeah. Well, I look at this and I see this is Manchester United's future, because it seems like this summer they're going to choose between Henderson and De Gea. And no matter which one they choose, if the other one has a good game, it's going to be, United chose wrong. What were they thinking? De Gea has done so much for them and they ditch him for an unproven guy. Or, come on, it was right there. De Gea has been so bad for so long. Why would they stick by him? I could see it going either way, depending on which one they choose.
Nature of the business.
Nature of the business. Alrighty. Manchester United, Liverpool. Speaking of United, we got a big game here that'll probably just be a really boring one. United, Liverpool. And I think this is a tough question. I need you guys all to answer. Who finishes higher in the Premier League next season? United or Liverpool, Kieran?
As much as I don't want to say it, it's going to be Liverpool, because Van Dijk's going to be back. Gomez is going to be back. I don't have faith that United is going to bring in good enough players to say, okay, well, we've got a world-class center back as well now, to offset the help that Van Dijk's going to do for their back line.
Jesse Lingard's going to come back.
Yeah, but
is he though? Is he?
Yeah. Is he Keegan?
Does he want to? Is he? So I think because Liverpool are going to have their core back, they're going to have their spine. Nope, I don't know what that was, but
is he their core or their spine? Because the core is like kind of the stomach area, I think.
Well, they're going to have their core back because they're going to have Jordan Henderson.
Is he their core or their spine? We can only use one body metaphor here.
Jordan Henderson's going to be back, and he's their core.
Oh.
And Van Dijk's their spine.
Core, Van Dijk's their spine. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, there you go. Like, I think it's Liverpool because they have the better players and probably a better manager.
Coach Cam, quickly, who do you think?
I'm going to stick with Kieran. He hit the nail on the head. I'm going to have to go with Liverpool as well. I also believe that despite what Kieran said, we have these players coming back. Van Dijk, world class. We already know that. I also think that I just have this feeling that Liverpool is going to have a better transfer period over the summer than United will. And I think that's just going to add on to building a Liverpool team that is going to do better than they are this season, which I think some pressure from fans and expectations from the manager and how the team should have done, become first, second, fighting for the title, and now they're not really. It's just going to influence Liverpool to spend money to buy players. Like, I don't know who, but I think they're going to bring in somebody big.
Yep. Could be a little bit of a wake-up call. Hey, we had a bad season. We need to go out there in the transfer market. I agree. Sandy, Man U, Liverpool.
Yeah, just to add on to our body analogy, if Van Dijk and Gomez are the core of the spine, whatever, then that midfield is the fucking dick and balls, because those guys kind of suck.
What was your reasoning? I missed that over the expected laughter.
I just said if they kind of suck, like they're kind of washed.
Glad to hear that you wash that part of your body.
A few times a week. Yeah, I think they could probably use a little retooling in the midfield, but they got the pieces. They got the solid back line, proven guys up top. Maybe like one or two. I mean, the Thiago bat was kind of a disaster. Retool in the midfield a little bit, and I think they'll be back contending next year.
There you go.
Can't say the same for Man U.
I mean, we're down 3-0 here. Are you gonna throw me a bone?
I'm absolutely going to throw you a bone here. I'm definitely not giving you the clean sweep. And I think, yes, Van Dijk is gone. I think was gone this year. I think that's the only point in Liverpool's favor. He's obviously an immense presence on the pitch, but I think a couple of things are going against Liverpool. I think the first thing is actually Klopp. I think he's a one-trick pony. Like
lost it. I agree.
Yeah, they've kind of figured him out. He's shown this season that, hey, I'm not. Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but our audio is just a disaster. But like he's shown this season that he's doesn't want to adapt. Granted, he's missing players, but I think he's figured out a little bit. Doesn't want to adapt. So I actually think he's on the decline, and his time at Liverpool is limited. Another thing is I actually think I disagree with Cam's point that Liverpool is going to have a better transfer window. I think you look at they've got those 4 attackers. You think one of them's got to go between Salah and Mane. So they're probably going to lose one of them to make room for Jota, which is a really good player. So it's not too much of a loss, but there's that. I also think, apparently no one's heard of this guy named Holland and his links to United as well. So
no one's heard that ever.
Oh my God.
I think it's between United or City. They're the only teams with the financial muscle to make it work, and they both obviously have ties to them. So I think it's definitely a possibility. So yeah, I think United.
I think so too, brother Keegs. Holland or Kane, who would you rather have next season?
Wow.
Keegs, come on, this is easy.
I don't know. I honestly definitely haven't watched Holland enough. And his youth intrigues me, but I really do love Kane. So
yeah. I mean, Holland's is younger, so you'd have him for more years. But I think like next season, I think like Kane would be probably just as impactful.
But I think Holland's kind of counterattacking, like his best in the counterattacking. So that would fit in with United really well, because obviously that's something United do really well. But I think maybe Kane would actually be better to kind of add that little bit different for a little bit different for you.
That's a tough question, because Holland can come to the Prem and just be as lost as Werner was, or as Havertz, like taking his time to settle in. But I don't know. I've seen some of these highlights that Holland has scored, and he's just so powerful. Like I don't know. I think he's better than Harry Kane personally, but
so you got to ask the question: is the only reason he's good because he's overpowering the season? Could he not get done with them?
Are German center backs really known for being pussies though?
Well, I think they're probably like weak, but they're big.
Calling all German center backs, Sandy thinks he can beat you in an arm wrestle. So if any of you guys are out there listening, let's make it happen.
Yeah,
they're not the hardened center backs you see in the Premier League.
There's no Ryan Shaw.
No Tarkowski, eh? No Tarkowskis over there.
They're more technical.
No Phil Jake Yelkas.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right. Speaking of Spurs and Kane, we got Spurs versus Sheffield here. And Chris Pike actually pointed this out, but I thought the same thing, but he beat me to it beat me to the punch in the group chat. Son, after the game, after the final, he looked like a man who had played his last big game for Tottenham. He was overwhelmed with emotion. Maybe he's just an emotional guy, but I agree with Pike. I like to read body language. But to me, that looked like a guy who's given his all to this team for 6 years or however he's been there, and has ultimately got them nothing. And now he's realizing this is it. I couldn't get them over the line. Is Heung-min Son gone next season, Cam?
That's a really good question, because I don't know. I also read into that body language. There's also all those photos. I follow a lot of the Manchester City players, and there's photos with him, with Phil Foden, him with Kevin De Bruyne, like comforting them and saying he's a great player and all this stuff. But it did look like he was almost like he's defeated. Like he's tried everything and he can't win a trophy with Tottenham. And that's a little concerning for the rest of this season. I guess it doesn't really mean much because they can't win any more trophies this season. But having that over your head, or transfer talks or transfer rumors, could affect his like last 3 or 4 games to help them push into a Europa League spot if they are going to be able to, Tottenham. But I also saw a photo of, after that Carabao Cup loss, of Harry Kane compared to Kyle Walker, because Harry Kane came into Tottenham the year that Kyle Walker left Tottenham, and it showed that Harry Kane is 6 years with Tottenham, no trophies, and his love for his loyalty with the club. And then Kyle Walker left Tottenham, got all this stick for leaving, but I think he has like 13 trophies or something like that now. And so like something ridiculous, Kyle Walker. So
something like that. I don't know the exact numbers, whatever.
Yeah. But and then there's a lot of like, should Kane leave Tottenham? Should Kane be the one that says, I'm a way better player than what the trophies are showing?
Better than this.
Yeah, I need to win trophies. I need to go to a bigger, or maybe not a bigger, a better Premier League team to win trophies. So like, yeah, I don't know. I can see.
If you had to pick one, if you had to pick one that you think you're more certain is going to leave.
Oh, Son. I think that Kane is. I think Son doesn't have as much. I don't know this for sure. I just have this feeling that Kane is really, really in love with Tottenham.
Yeah. Well, he's one of their own, right?
Really, right. I don't know if Son is really like, as I'm a Tottenham forever type of player. Like I can see him leaving. But like, I don't know. I can also, there is a scenario that played in my mind that they both leave Tottenham over the summer and they're fucked. So that also played in my mind. But yeah.
What is Tottenham without Kane and Son?
Honestly, if Serge Aurier,
we might have to find
Hugo
out.
Lloris.
All right. Yeah. Moving right along. Monday, we got a couple Monday games.
West Brom to address.
Andy.
I was pretty outspoken supporting Ryan Mason last week as the manager of Spurs. Thought he might be able to roll in and rejuvenate the squad, get him to a trophy.
Have a beer with the boys, I think.
Have a beer with the boys.
One of his strongest defenders out there, but now that he has mission failed, he lost, he didn't win his trophy. I gotta say, the fact that he's the manager of Spurs is just absolutely comical. Like, this guy was like a bum on Spurs. He couldn't even get in. I don't know. He's probably like a bench guy riding pine. One Kane, like with Kane and Son when they were on the team still, and now he's their manager. Like how it just doesn't make any sense.
It'd be like Darren Gibson coming back and managing Manchester United.
Yeah, like, it's absolutely absurd. But I want to give him a fair shake, but couldn't get the job done, and now I've turned on him.
No, shame on him for not beating Pep Guardiola in a cup final.
There's a chance. There's one chance to establish himself.
Mm-hmm. All righty. Actually, you know what? I did want to shout out Sheffield United because we haven't spoken about them on the pod in months because they haven't earned it. But hey, good job winning a game, Sheffield. And McGoldrick, top scorer. Hopefully that one cashes. So thank you, Sheffield United. Black Country Derby, West Brom Wolves. Brother Keegs, just a question. I'll provide the context later. What's the most embarrassing thing that you've ever done or that's ever happened to you?
Probably USA Cup 2015. Playing right back, cross comes in, wonderful volley top corner. Own net though.
I watched that game actually.
I was watching that game too. Yeah.
Ian was coaching that game actually.
Yeah, I was coaching with you. Yeah.
Oh God.
Oof.
So there you go. Now on the embarrassment scale, would you say that's more or less embarrassing than losing 4-0 at home to Burnley?
Well, I think what was hidden in the context, it's not often talked about that own goal. It was 0-0. And then after that own goal, we scored 2 goals in about 5 minutes. So it was an overall positive based on how it rejuvenated the team. So I'd say losing. It was what, as a leader on the field, it was what the team needed. So I'd say that was probably less embarrassing than losing 4-0 at home to Burnley.
Yeah, I actually recall that, Keegan, and I'm pretty sure Poop Dog scored a really nice goal that game. And I remember him telling me after that the only reason he scored is because you scored an own goal and he wanted to tie you with the same amount of goals in the game.
What a good friend, Cooper.
What a good friend Cooper was there. But he scored a fucking crack in that game, I remember.
All righty. I don't know how you lose 4-0 at home to Burnley. Like, let's just lay the cards on the table. I feel like people are scared to talk negatively about Wolves outside of maybe us because we do it, but it's been a bad season for Wolves. Right, Kieran? It's just been a bad season for Wolves. Why don't you give us what you think on them? How are they favorites in this game?
Because West Brom are also really bad. Although, West Brom have been much better recently. Wolves have just been terrible this year. I mean, everybody can make the excuse that they're missing their best player, and yeah, that will affect you, especially when he's your main source of goals. But it's not even that they get in the positions and there's just nobody there to finish it. They hardly seem to be even creating the chances that would end up on Jimenez's foot or his head to finish it. So either they just, Adama Traore, one-hit wonder, or they just thought, well, we don't have Jimenez here, so the energy and belief is all gone from them. They're like, yeah, we can't even create the chances because nobody's going to score it anyways.
Traore, I heard a stat earlier this season that to finish last season and then start this one, it was something like 28 games without a goal or assist from him, which was shocking given how highly rated he was at some points last season.
No one's even a crazier stat, Liam.
Yeah.
Adama Traore has the most successful dribbles of a player this season.
Yeah. And fair enough.
Crazy.
I'm not doubting that, but define successful. Because what has he done with it if he doesn't score or assist, right?
I guess
he's gotten past the player.
That's
past
all
the player.
Yeah, for sure.
I just think that's crazy because the other players there were, I can't remember, but
He's had the most successful yet ultimately unsuccessful dribbles.
Successful, most successful.
I think
past the play. I just feel like he probably just runs to the corner flag and beats a player, then runs back and beats a player, then keeps running back and forth.
He's just going up and down.
Cam,
he's
100-meter try.
Cam, he does the Anthony Valente. He beats a guy and he's like, oh, I got to beat him again.
I got to beat him, and it's just pure pace. But yeah, I thought that was crazy because I was like, I don't know. I don't know.
He must have the lowest crosses completed percentage
ever.
Yeah, he's got the most players beaten. He's got the lowest crosses.
Also,
runs
Liam,
straight for the corner flag and then shanks the cross out for a goal kick. Same thing next play.
He also chips it to the goalie's hands a ton too. I've seen he runs it all the way down the line and then just chips it right to the goalie's hands and then just looks straight at the ground. Like, okay, man.
Liam, you like to ask the goalies situational questions, but speaking of the West Brom whatever the word, disaster at the end of the game, would you ever try and, any of you guys can answer this, would you ever try and take a ball down with your chest in the 6-yard box in the 93rd minute of a game?
It's a really tough look. I kind of felt for him a little bit because I could see in his mind, he's like, okay, I'll take my chest and then I'll clear it. But just the split second that it takes that ball to drop, it's just, you could tell, it's not going to get through his feet in time. And Davis nicks in. And you'd probably hope that, I'd like to hope I'd have more urgency in that game. You absolutely need to win and literally just do whatever, like head that out. I don't even know, but that was a little bit too much calmness.
I agree too. I remember I remember like a ball came in when this was in my youth and I went to chest it down in the box off a corner kick and the player kicked it into the net, like off my chest. And I remember Saverio Lento actually said that in those scenarios, the first touch off your chest ever in your own 18-yard box will always be a first touch for the opponent. And from that day forward, I would blast it as far away as possible. So when I saw that happen, not only did I lose money, more money, I would have been negative, just a small negative because of that. I was like, Saverio Lento probably is fucking screaming at people watching this game. He would be like, a first touch in your own 18 is a first touch for the opponent, so don't do it.
On the West Brom subject, maybe Sav should be coaching West Brom, Kieran, because I'm going to go with you on this one, Kieran. When Big Sam was hired for West Brom, I thought, their defense is going to be solid. He's going to lock down that defense. They're going to be great. They've been awful. Maybe Sav could help out with. Sav is not traditionally a defensive coach. Sav, if you're listening, shout out. But he's pretty good defensively, but he's more of an offensive guy as a player, anyways. But
good goalies.
We could help out West Brom because Kieran, is this not the worst ever Big Sam defense? Like these guys are making horrible decisions, leaking goals at untimely, unfortunate times.
Yeah, it's not like he's had great defenses before, but at least they were known to be like sturdy and they wouldn't give up big mistakes like that. Like, they'd get beat down on every now and again, but that's because it was like Man United when they had, Tevez and Rooney and Ronaldo up top. Like most defenses low in the Premier League are not stoutly defending those three. This is
no, but Big Sam
just
teams,
terrible.
you got to earn it. You got to earn
Yeah.
it against them. You're gonna have to work for it. This team.
No, you don't have to. It's weird, and it's weird because he seems like he's given them more potency in attack than in defense, which is the absolute opposite of what you'd expect from
not a very potent defense.
Well,
the defense is potent for the other team. Yeah, maybe. Hey, I mean, Allardyce. He said if I was named Allardyce, I would be more well recognized. Maybe he's embracing the Allardyce persona. He's saying screw defense. I'm an offensive coach now, Allardyce.
Yeah,
Allardyce.
Yeah, he did. That is a direct quote from him, Sandy.
If I was named Allardyce, I'd be getting all the big jobs. He said something like that.
Gosh. I actually I would look into this a little bit, Liam, and if they finish and relegate, that'll be the worst position Sam Allardyce has ever been.
Yeah, he's never been relegated.
He's never been relegated before.
Yeah, even like I looked through all. I think the worst defense, because I was looking through their actual defense, had to be. I'm looking right now at the paper because I wrote it down. Had to be when he managed 2016-17. He managed Palace, and the back four is pretty shocking. We have Joel Ward at right back, Scott Dan, Darmian Delaney. I don't know whoever that is.
Damian Delaney.
Darmian. He like
Damian Delaney, and then they had Pape Soare. I don't know.
Happy and nice soiree.
That's just a typical Crystal Palace back four.
That is awful.
Yeah, Ward and Dan aren't bad, but yeah, I mean Delaney. Soiree, I don't think was ever very good.
No, he definitely wasn't. Yeah, but
you got him from Lille.
Jeez, this West Brom team is. I still can't believe. Every time I think of West Brom, I don't know why. It's like just a vision of that own goal. That own goal where he passed it into his own net.
Like
that's just the worst own goal ever. Like, it's
I'm
just
pretty
awful.
sure that was what's his name that did that.
Sawyers.
It was Sawyers.
Oh, Sawyers.
Yeah,
it was Sawyers.
Just awful. Just
who's the guy that gave away the really stupid penalty this weekend? Ajayi.
Semi Ajayi.
Oh man, he's tough.
That was awful too.
A dumb tackle.
And you picked him up in fantasy.
Yeah, geez. All right, probably enough on West Brom Wolves. Cannot believe Wolves are favored in that game given their form and how they've looked without Jimenez, but here we are. Okay, saving the VAR rant for last. Oh, these refs have no common sense, man. Balbuena, West Ham, I mean, it probably wouldn't have changed the result. West Ham weren't very good against Chelsea, would have lost anyway, but it just pains me to see a ref have absolutely no common sense. Balbuena clears the ball. Chilwell runs into his leg while it's up, because when you kick the ball, your leg goes up. We got to accept that as a fact, refs. And Chilwell runs in, hits it, rolls around, and the ref comes back and says, yeah, sorry, guys, studs are up. It's dangerous play. Sends him off. I mean, I didn't really direct this one at anyone. Does anyone want to jump in here and how far is the game gone? Can it come back? What do we do? Keep the refs. Why are we giving them another chance to be bad? They were already bad. Now VAR, they get to be even worse. Go ahead, Keeks.
It's absolutely unbelievable. And I honestly think that I nailed it spot on a couple weeks ago when every problem in soccer, and I said this before the Super League, I'm sure the Super League has something to do with this as well, but every problem in soccer boils down to the refs. The refs create every problem in soccer. And there's just another example where, and what they said on the Guardian pod, it absolutely cracked me up, where they were like, do the refs do their training watching someone play FIFA 94? Because that's the last time I've seen someone kick the ball without swinging their leg forward.
Yeah.
I thought that was absolutely hilarious. And I mean, I don't know how that could possibly be a red card. It just comes down to the refs being just incompetent human beings. I would love to watch a ref go about his day go about his life for one day, because they're just incompetent human beings. So I just wonder what they do in their day if they can't figure out like what's going on with the player kicking the ball. And yeah, most times when you kick the ball, you're probably going to have to follow through. And so I don't know what happened there. It's despicable and something needs to change.
Yeah, I agree.
It's inappropriate. Maybe that's the next big documentary, a day in the life of Howard Webb, just following him around. So this is what I get up, I make my toast, I toast it twice to make sure it's nice and crisp, and then I put butter and then margarine and then jam.
Yeah, he's definitely the type of guy that puts his milk in and then his cereal in second.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
It's just stupid. But yeah, no, I was gonna actually add on a little bit, Keegan, because like what happened there was just you're right. The context of the game is being totally lost, but I'm not sure how much pressure VAR has on the refs, because surely he doesn't go and be like, yeah, this is a red card and agrees. Surely someone in his ear is saying, this is a red card, you have to give it, and his hands are tied. That's what I want to believe. I want to give them a little bit benefit of the doubt where the ref on the field, once VAR steps in, has no say whatsoever, and whatever they tell him he has to do, despite what he believes.
Well, there probably is a bit of pressure. I think that's a good point.
Yeah, because he might have seen the tackle, and it happens. Then he's thinking, I don't want to give a red card on the field. VAR steps in and says, you have to do this. And now he's like,
you have to take a look at least, is what they're saying. They're like, oh, well, he's like, well, if they're making me take a look, it's
then I think probably a red card, right? So, because I'm pretty sure, I'm not pretty sure, but I have a feeling from just recollection of watching games that the majority of the times the ref has to go on field to look, it's usually a penalty, or the card is usually changed from yellow to red. I haven't really seen a time where it's been the opposite, where a yellow was given, they look in the monitor like, yep, I'm going to stay with the yellow. Or a penalty wasn't called, they look at the monitor like, I'm going to stick with no call on the penalty. Usually they're, like the sign of going to the monitor, you're almost feeling like there's something's changing.
Yeah, and you get scared if it's your team, sure.
Like, and that internal pressure, that needs to change as well, because, and I think Keegan went through, I think we all kind of mentioned it a couple pods ago with the slowing anything down to slow motion will make anything look bad.
For sure. And that's the problem.
And that is the problem, because I remember seeing it in real time and thinking, like, that's ridiculous. Like, clearing the ball is clearing the ball. You have to put your foot through the ball to clear it. Your studs are going to be up once your leg goes up. That's just how it works. That's biomechanics of your body. And then there's a freeze frame of his studs up against Chilwell, and I'm thinking, there's no way you can just look at that. Like, that's fucking ridiculous, because from this angle, if I just walked in, I'll be like, that looks pretty bad if I just walked in and looked at my TV screen, but that's not what happened at all. And I agree with Keegan.
Maybe that's what the VAR room is happening, Cam. They're all having a bunch of jokes, and then they're like, "Oh shit, boys, there's something we ought to look at this. Oh, look at this picture. It's stud red.
Holy fuck! Straight red. Yeah.
One of the guys like, "Yo, boys, come check this out. Look at this."
What the fuck? They're all playing Fortnite in the back. Remember, we have seen those memes where they're all shooting up Fortnite. They're like, oh shit, and they switch the HDMI from 1 to HDMI 2 to see the game, and they're like, fuck, boys, this is bad. Get a red card. Exactly. But yeah, I think it's been ridiculous. I had to add that in. And there's definitely some internal pressure, and I think there's too much. I think refs shouldn't have to feel the need to automatically change something just because the VR says, check this out.
Kieran, Sandy, anything else to add, or did these boys cover it?
I don't know if I have anything to add. Yeah, it's just kind of embarrassing at this point.
Yeah.
Can we get a ref on the podcast? Like, can we reach out to Giorgio or
let's get Giorgio
or Nick
out
Lanto
here.
Or something? Get one of them on.
Nick Lanto, yeah.
Bet you Lucinho will come on, Keegan.
Lucinho.
We never be able to understand him for a bit. Yeah.
Doing the lean.
He'll be halfway across the room, leaning and looking at the camera.
No, that's not Dave. Yeah, Kieran. He'll be standing up, trying to figure out Zoom, being way in the back,
halfway across the room, just in the middle, just like
from my screen. I can't quite
in the center circle.
Actually walking up. Yeah. Very niche Thunder Bay joke for our listeners to know who Lucinho is. So there you go. Maybe we do need a ref on. All right, guys, that was fun. Great banter. We bring it every week. Good for you guys. Never let the audience down. Sometimes we do with the bets, but not this week. Let's get into it. Brother Keegs, what you got?
Okay. Let's start things off with Leicester over Southampton. Great spot there. Mm-hmm. Move on to Leeds over Brighton. Another great spot. I mean, I like betting whatever the higher number is in a Brighton game for the most part. I do like Villa over Everton. I think Sandy nailed it when he finally got Everton, and then he told us all, yep, let's hit against them for the rest of the season. So,
Yeah.
And then we're going to take United as underdogs against Liverpool, like that spot as well. Now, interesting one, I'm going to go Wolves over West Brom. I mean, that 90th minute goal kind of sinks West Brom. So I'm hoping they come out and come out defeated and a bounce back for Wolves. So I think that one's a little out there, but I like the number as well. West Ham over Burnley. I mean, Burnley just won 4-0. They're not going to score 4 goals, or they're not going to score another goal for the next 8 games probably. Then I'm going to do a Arsenal and City in a parlay. Absolutely disgusted with myself. And then my little lottery ticket for the week, because the only 2 games I haven't touched is Chelsea, Fulham, and Tottenham, Sheffield. So I'm going to take Fulham to win and keep a clean sheet. I'm sure Werner will miss a sitter to help me keep my hopes up there. Parlayed with Tottenham halftime, and then draw full time at 21. Fulham I think they're second in the league behind Brighton in terms of points lost from a winning position. So 250 on that pays out 525, and that's what I got.
Very nice, brother Keegs. All right, what do I got? Yeah, love Leicester, boys. I'm thinking this could be a great grandma lock. Leicester 2.0 playing well. Southampton all the way on the beach. They're sunburnt. They forgot to bring extra sunscreen. They're looking real red. So yeah, Leicester, great grandma level lock, I'm saying. I've got Brighton and Leeds. I've actually got a draw. I like the big number there. Like I said to Sandy, this one's either going to be 0-0 or 2-2, but I see 2 even teams that are hopefully going to give it a go. Excited to watch this game, to be honest with you. I've got a draw in Manchester United Liverpool. 3.6 seems pretty good for 2 teams that are just going to, I don't know, probably not attack as much and just kind of dink around. I don't know why you're going against West Brom with Wolves, Keegan. That's blasphemous to me. I'm going West Brom. $5 on them. $5 on all my bets so far, except 20 on the Leicester. I'm gonna go West Brom at home. You make a good point. They could be the air was let out of the balloon last week and they'll be deflated with that goal, but I still think they can. This is more of a bet against Wolves. I was taking whoever played Wolves this week. West Brom, fair enough. 3.0, lock it in. Burnley, West Ham, hot team versus a team that's probably better. I'm going with the draw. Nice number right in the middle there. $5 on that. I've got an $8 parlay, and this is this is a betting against teams you can't trust parlay. It's Aston Villa or draw, because I don't think Everton wins, and Newcastle or draw, because you can't trust Everton or Arsenal, so bet on them to not win. $8 on that one is a nice little payout too. And then finally, $5 on Manchester United 0, Liverpool 0. We've been here before, boys. Let's do it again.
I'd have to.
$5 pays 60. Let's go with Sandy. What you got?
All right, boys. I'm gonna go with not really in any particular order. I got West Ham, kind of the same logic as Keegan. It's one of those situations with Burnley where you hate to see them win so emphatically because they only have a limited amount of goals to score. So like when you waste 4 in one game,
fair enough.
It's not ideal. So yeah, I think like Keegan said, they'll probably struggle for a little bit. I got West Brom. Pretty much same reason as Liam. I think even though West Brom's probably dead, maybe they're on life support a little bit, whereas Wolves just is like that roadkill that's been on the road for like 6 weeks right now. Like they're I don't know. There's nothing there.
Not even the scavengers want to pick at them anymore.
They're degrading. And then we go with. I'm gonna go with Everton. That's more of a hate bet against Villa right now because they pretty much whatever's going on with Grealish. I'm not convinced he's actually hurt. Pretty much fucked me in fantasy, so fuck you, Villa. Well, among other things, there's other factors there, but I'm gonna go Leeds, and then I'm gonna go Leicester, And then I think this Fulham-Chelsea game that's kind of interesting. I was thinking maybe going Fulham just because sandwich between Chelsea's Champions League games, but they got a lot to play for. They'll probably just like roll the boys out. Probably get a result. But I'm going to take Maja to score again. Might be able to tuck one. Boy, if obviously.
Might be able to.
That's it.
All right. There you go. Coach Cam looking to win a bet for the first while.
I know. Yeah, this is why you signed me. This ring of bets I'm about to make are exactly why you signed me. I'm looking to make some moves. So I have Leeds to beat Brighton. I have Leicester to beat Southampton. Those two seem like that is a great grandma lock. I want to emphasize that. I'm 100% with Leicester, and hopefully the rest of us are. I have West Ham to beat Burnley, and then I am a scavenger. I'm a little blasphemous. I have Wolves to beat West Brom.
That's a 2-2 split for the pod.
So
yikes.
I don't know. I have some feeling that Wolves, I don't know. I think they believe they're better than their last result. So I think they want to come and be like, we want to show our fans that we're better than what is shown. I think the like you guys said, the fact that West Brom are pretty much relegated now.
I think a team with any pride doesn't lose 4-0 to Burnley. If they had any pride, they would have showed a little bit there.
I don't know. I just have this feeling that I also have this theory that if you lose 1 week, you're going to come back and win. That's why I think Leicester's going to come and beat Southampton. They lost in the cup, and now they're going to come back and beat them. I have the United Liverpool draw. I might audible last second. I need to think with the 0-0 as well, but for now, I'm just going to go with just draw any amount draw. And then I also have my last, so those 4 bets, $5 each. My last bet, which hopefully brings me money. It's do or die at this point. There's 5 weeks left. I'm putting $100 on Manchester City to beat Crystal Palace to pay out $133.33, which will
I like it, Coach Cam. I like it actually.
Which hopefully pushes me 33 in the positives, and then if my other bets hit, that'll just be more money. So, and the other bets look pretty solid.
Are you just out of curiosity, and you don't have to disclose, but will you actually be making that bet on your Bet365 too?
Can send the screenshot after if you guys please. But
there you go. I believe you.
I actually have made this $100 bet.
Making money moves.
Because I remember, I told you guys, I've lost 20, 20, and 25. And I remember I think it was $60 or $50 on Liverpool to beat Crystal Palace when I was competing with Cody and Kieran to get this position actually. Cody and Liverpool, Pike. Maybe Pike, and Liverpool won 5-0 against Crystal Palace, and that actually ended up pushing me. I know I parlayed Liverpool and City together $50, and that actually pushed me onto this pod. So I thought I need that little City magic.
Going back to his roots.
Yeah, City. I've been loving them.
Making money moves.
$100.
Damn, drop it.
And if they lose, then I'm gonna be with you, Sandy. So.
Wow.
Maybe I'll see you down there, man.
This is your chance, Sandy.
Yeah, I don't know if I should be cheering to drag the pod down or I'll cheer for the pod. So I'll cheer for Cam.
Thank you guys.
I don't mind being last place.
And if City, if City win and United doesn't win, City win the trophy, win the Premier League. So I guess they have a little bit to play for this week.
Kieran, your long-awaited your long-awaited return to the betting scene. What you got for us?
Just like every other time, not going too crazy with my bets, but I followed the hot trend when I won that $60 when Man United were coming back and winning all those games. So I'm going to follow the hot trend again and put 5 on Iheanacho to score at any time. Void if he doesn't start, of course.
He'll start.
Of course. Yeah, I don't know why he wouldn't, but better be safe than sorry.
Yeah, very true.
I'm going to take the Brighton versus Leeds over for another $5 just because after chatting so much shit to Brighton, you just know they're going to go and kick my ass. Mm-hmm. So getting on that. I've got Newcastle and Arsenal are going to draw. Put another 5 on that one. It's going to be 1-1 and Newcastle just aren't going to have Joe Willock to bring on to win it. So it's going to stay that way. And then I got another draw, the United Liverpool game. It's going to be a good week for the pod because everybody's going to be on that one. So another 5 on that, keep it going. And good old chalk parlay, because I always got to throw one of those in here. I'm taking Leicester, Chelsea, and Man City, and put $5 on that as well.
Chalky chalk. There you go.
Let's
Gotta
go,
love
Man
the
City.
chalk parlays.
Let's go. Now me and Kieran can both cheer for Man City.
Kieran,
Cam, I'm not going to be cheering.
I was hoping you bet on West Brom Wolves to be a tie, because then maybe, boys, we could have the ultimate win on Bet365, because where West Brom go up 2-0 and the early payout hits for us who bet on West Brom, and then Wolves goes up 4-2. The early payout hits for them, and then the game ends 4-4, and the result hits for Kieran.
I guess I missed the memo on that one. My bad, boys.
Yeah. If you wanna bet the draw, I'll bet the 7.5 over. When it's 4-4.
All right. We have a rough patch. We're 0 for 1 and over 7.5.
Actually, speaking of this, I also want to point out, because I want to clear the air, because I know we're going to be doing this. Both West Ham and Wolves both play on Monday, so hopefully we can clear we just need them to win on Monday. We just need this to win on Monday.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Now it'll be a draw, because that's the only thing we didn't cover on the pod.
Exactly.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Two things, though.
Thanks for coming in. Brother Kieran, thanks for coming in.
Yeah, no problem. Love to be here. And I was promised something, and I'm yet to be followed up on that.
Yeah. We are going to finish the podcast with a message that we got. Let me just pull up the email.
Hang on a sec. Before we get into that,
Keegan's got something.
Two things. The first thing is, are we all getting on board with United Liverpool and 0-0 draw? So I could get on board with that. I know
I'm already on board. I've already placed the bet.
I'm low on cash, man. I threw 100 on City.
You got 100 going on City. Can't afford.
I just did the draw for $5. I'm not going to go the 0-0 though. But a draw 0-0 would win me anyway. So
I'm down. I'll audible it. I'll audible me in there. I'll throw.
Are you sure you want to be left out, Cam? Just switch the 5 over.
No, I don't know. Because if it's 1-1, I'm just going to look stupid. I'm just going to stay. Because I win if it's 0-0. You guys win if it's 0-0 still. So, and if it's 1-1, I win.
I'll take it then. And we can cheer against Cam.
Yeah. Sure.
And then the last thing is, how funny is it that Kieran comes onto this pod so that we can argue about Brighton, end up taking Leeds, and then Kieran takes Brighton. After arguing against Brighton, at least I took the number. Kieran's betting
Brighton to win, Keegan.
As the favorite.
I didn't take Brighton. I took the over in that game.
The over in the game.
Oh, well, now there's a bit of egg on my face, isn't there?
There's a little bit of a pie on your face.
But I did talk about how they were gonna blow it up and get the over, so you can get me on that, Keegan. We'll let you have another go at that one.
I'm just gonna shut up for the rest of the pod.
So we'll get in. We did get a nice email here, Kieran. I'm reading it now. Very well put together. Also, it is from Kieran, this email. And Kieran, why is your Gmail picture just like a Caitlin selfie, who's our sister?
Oh, because a while ago, Kate was signing it on YouTube, and she ended up putting her face on there back 5-6 years ago. I've had my friends from school ask me that when they email me something who is that on your Gmail thing? And I was like, that's my sister. It's a long story. I just never bothered to change it.
You're out here sending emails to people from school with a selfie of your little sister.
Caitlin from when she was 9.
I'm about to start applying for jobs, so I'm gonna have to change
Definitely have to switch that. Definitely switch that.
Anyways, the title, the subject line: whatever happened to the retroactive ban? Hey, fellow positive bettors, it's your second best ever. I was listening to the pod last Friday instead of doing homework, and I couldn't help but notice no one brought up retroactive bans for diving. Does the FA still have that in place? Did they ever really implement it in the first place? I think that this is a way to try and stop the diving pandemic. Ooh, word pandemic, geez. The only issue...
Not the climate, Kieran.
Come on, this is so tone deaf. The only issue is that they only hand them out for blatant dives in which there's no contact at all. Do they need to be more strict on what is considered a dive? Because if you start hitting these players in their bank account, that's where to get them. Yep. Will it affect them more than not being rewarded for it on the field? Let's hear your thoughts. P.S. Sandy, they used to have a theme song for Premier League games back in the early 2010s. I'm pretty sure I think Liam and Keegan will remember it. I know it always got me going watching animations for every club's badge race across the
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I know what you're talking
I remember
about.
the Arsenal, the gun.
Yeah. Before a Premier League match. Fire by Kasabian will never not get the nostalgia flowing. I agree. Here is the link for next week's pod if you feel like spicing it up the intro with some music. That's a great idea, Kieran.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it, actually.
I don't have it queued up, but Kieran, can you just sing it a little bit? How does that song go again?
I think we'll lose every single listener.
Here from the fellas.
We will lose every single listener.
Me and Liam will join in once you get it going.
I probably know it too, actually. I probably know it too.
Oh,
if it was
I have
back
like
in the day.
What channel was this on? Was it wasn't on like Sportsnet or something? It was just like
this was like
it was always on
it might have been on
Sportsnet
Sportsnet or whatever, but it was like it was just it was like the Premier League match day theme song, because I did a little digging after I sent the email, because I was like, I want to really like, where was this actually? And it was the Premier League match day before the games started in the morning. They would have this on.
Do they not have it anymore though?
And
what are they doing currently?
I don't know. Just DAZN. DAZN is doing whatever they want. So
love it, Kieran. That's a great call. We're gonna open next week's pod with that song, and I'm gonna add it to my Apple Music like right after we finish recording, because that does.
You need an intro song, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll workshop it a little bit.
I don't know. This pod might be too big. Kasabian might hear it and sue you. So
no, we can if you clip. You don't have to. You can just clip a certain portion of the song, and it won't be copyrighted. I'm pretty sure.
We'll just buy the rights with all the money.
Isn't it like 25 seconds or 30?
Buy the rights with Cam's $100 bet that's gonna pay out.
I'm gonna get 133.33 hopefully. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we kind of hopped over the diving thing, Kieran, but just really quick,
more important part of
the was more important. Yeah, I don't know. I agree, because these guys are going down way too early. Instead of being punished, they're basically being rewarded, right? With penalties, and especially with VAR. If there's a fraction of contact, they get rewarded. You're right. They're saying there's going to be retroactive bans for diving. Has there been one, Kieran?
As far as I know, I think there was one or two right after they implemented it, because of course they're going like, whoa, we're serious about this. We're going to crack down on this. And like, it's been like 3 years since they implemented that. And in the last 2 seasons, have you guys heard of a single one happening? No.
Turned into an absolute pandemic.
I'll be honest. I didn't even know that existed. So I guess that's answering.
I remember them talking about it a few years ago, and maybe they didn't even implement it, Cam.
Yeah, maybe it didn't actually get voted through. I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, I agree. I think that hitting them in their bank accounts, their wallets, will definitely, I guess, for some players, but I don't know. It's a tough one.
Hit them pretty hard. Those wallets are deep.
They are deep. Some of them are very deep, but so I don't know how hefty the fine is. I think a suspension would be way more enticing of some sort. I think maybe it'd be like a yellow card type of thing. Like if you are cautioned 5 times by diving, then you get a 1-match ban or something.
That's a lot of dives.
Yeah, I think you'd have to.
I don't know. Like how many yellow cards is it before you get a 1-match ban? Isn't it 6 or 5?
No, it's. I thought it was
individual yellow cards.
Or maybe it's 5. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's 5, and then I think you get a 3-match at like 10 or something.
Yeah,
like that.
I feel like maybe I know like 5 yellow cards for diving is a lot too, but a lot of players' games are starting to stem from the fact that a good example is Neymar. I watched today. Raheem Sterling's doing it a ton whenever he steps on the field. Like a lot of their game is they'll get into the box and feeling contact, they'll go down. That's just how their players are starting to adapt negatively, I guess is what I'm trying to say. They're starting to build habits on diving and feeling contact. Like Liam said, everything's under a microscope now. I even went about the freeze frame. You can freeze frame any tackle and almost be like, that does look like a penalty nowadays. And that should not be the case. I don't know whatever happened to Diego Costa fucking rubbing guys off and getting absolutely demolished by Vincent Kompany, and there being no fucking calls. And nowadays it's being even near a guy, being near a player, it's dangerous. Sometimes defending, I'm like, don't even go near him, man. Like, don't even, because anything can happen. Yeah. So I think some sort of actual ban has to be established, because like the money would fanning players would have some impact. But there are players that are probably like, I don't really care. Like I'll pay that 50,000 euro fine or whatever it is. So
suspensions are the way to go. I agree.
So.
All right, that's going to do us for Banter Bets and BPL. Happy betting, guys. Get in on the action this weekend. Great Grandma Lock coming out for you. Those hit almost always. Only time they didn't was when it was.
They hit every time, boys.
Half the time they hit every time, yeah. The only one we missed was when it was like the 11.0 on
every time.
But yeah, thanks for listening. And I do have the song loaded up here that we're going to let it ride out on Fire by Kasabian.
Little outro.
You'll have to skip ahead a little bit before it gets to the Premier League part of it.
You guys hear that?
Not really. It's shocking.
I'm pretty sure there's a way you can
go watch on their own
share
time.
when you share your screen. You can share the audio as well on your screen. So like if you share the YouTube video or whatever.
Well, I had it on my phone, but then I realized that I was playing it into my microphone. So we're not going to edit that out. That's just going to be an absolute disaster sent to the pod. Thanks for listening, Banter Bets and BPL. Next week we'll actually have the music. It's just such a suspense filler now. So, yep. And happy betting this weekend.